Hey, how's it going guys? This is Tom from UDS and welcome to our review of the new arcade mode for indie smash hit Huntdown, now available to download on Steam. We're going to tell you everything you need to know before you play, but before I do, make sure to subscribe for more videos on games new and old every single week. You're not going to want to miss it. If you haven't heard of Huntdown yet, you are missing out. Heavily inspired by the likes of Metal Slug and Contra, as well as hyper-violent 80s flicks like The Warriors and Escape from New York, it sees you mow down countless enemies in side-scrolling arcade shooter action. With gorgeously saturated pixel art settings, as well as tight, satisfying action, it got a lot of people excited. But with only a campaign mode on offer, it perhaps lacked the replayability that fans have been clamoring for. But developers Easy Trigger looked to rectify this with a brand new arcade mode, launching the same day as the game's long-awaited PC port. Now this review will mainly only cover the new features as well as my experience with the PC version. I won't be talking too much about the campaign or the wider narrative, but it's definitely worth looking these up afterwards, and I stress afterwards. We need that watch time, do not skip away, please, don't let me down. Anyway, but what does this arcade mode entail? Does Huntdown translate to PC gameplay? Will I die more times than I'm proud to admit? Watch on to find out. Firstly, arcade mode is a completely separate experience to the existing story campaign, in which you traverse through increasingly challenging courses, coming up against waves of unique enemies. Like the campaign, each zone has a distinct aesthetic and enemy gang to encounter, including street punks, ninjas, and hockey goons. You know, the three horsemen of the 80s schlock-apocalypse. Schlock-apocalypse. Never mind. You'll gain points by defeating your foes in the most impressive ways possible. Multi-kills, weapon swap bonuses, and other ultra-violent exploits will see you rack up a high score in no time, and you'll be able to share your score on a global leaderboard for true bragging rights. Not only does this harken back to the glory days of arcade shooters, but your exploits are also semi-narrated by an over-the-top action voiceover man. This helps to add to the bombastic tone of the game, and you know, it's just nice to have your own hype man amping you up in the more difficult moments. It's the kind of thing you could really use in your everyday life, like you're down the shops and all of a sudden he's like, "Oh yeah, he's bought some oranges!" I don't know why in my head he sounds like Macho Man Randy Savage, but you know, I'm not complaining. So that's what arcade mode is, but how does it play? Well, for the most part, remarkably well. It carries over the same frenetic energy of the story mode, but with a heightened sense of challenge. Each of the 4 zones gets progressively more difficult, but even the supposedly easy stage shouldn't be taken lightly. But to be fair, it does warn you. In fact, when you select arcade mode, a screen flashes up suggesting you complete the story mode first, in order to acclimate yourself with the gameplay. Now, full disclosure, I hadn't actually played Huntdown before receiving this review copy, so I was one of the foolhardy who ignored the warnings and jumped into arcade mode blind. And to be honest, I died. A lot. And unlike the story campaign, when you run out of lives, you're given a game over screen and will have to start from the beginning again. But as with anything in life, after a few failed attempts, I managed to get the hang of it, and before long, I was blasting my way through levels in a gleeful power fantasy. What was a real pleasant surprise is that there's plenty of viable ways you can approach the gameplay. You can be methodical, ducking and covering your way through, or you can forego any tact whatsoever and just force your way through like a one-man army. Providing you've got the appropriate weaponry, both techniques can work, and experimenting between both extremes is really fun. And for any other newbies like me, I definitely recommend starting with John Sawyer as your character of choice. Although you can pick the equally badass Anaconda and Mo-Man, just great name choices there by the way, I did find that John Boy's pistol had the oomph needed to help you find your feet in those early stages. While I'm disclosing facts that expose me as the fake gamer that I am, I have to admit, I loved the fact that Huntdown let me play with the directional arrows instead of a mouse. I'm much more of a console gamer, so only having to navigate the keyboard made it much more conducive to a scrub like me. What's more, while the game is undeniably challenging, the checkpoints are well spaced out, meaning you're challenged without the frustration of having to tackle the same areas over and over and over again. But if you're anything like me, you'll probably end up playing arcade mode over and over and over again. Gunning for those high scores can get super addictive, and while there's probably only an hour or two of new content, we're given near infinite replayability. Look, I know I said I'd mainly be covering the new mode, but I just have to mention the outstanding art style and Darkwave soundtrack. Although the HD display and 60 frames per second means it could never run on hardware from the time, it evokes such a sense of nostalgia and reverence for 80s sci-fi, I just had a giddy smile on my face the whole time. Think the likes of Kung Fury, just not so try-hard. Overall, Huntdown's arcade mode is a chunk of hugely enjoyable, dumb fun. It doesn't take itself too seriously, but definitely means business when it comes to addictive gameplay and its squee-inducing aesthetic. It's the perfect game for dipping into every now and then, whether it's a palate cleanser between longer titles, or just an adrenaline-fueled way to kill 15 minutes. But the real question is, have you had a chance to play it yet, or are you looking forward to checking it out now? Please let me know the answer to everything in the comments below, I genuinely love reading your thoughts. And while you're down there, don't forget to subscribe for more videos on games new and old every single week. My name is Tom, we've been UDS, and I'll see you next time.